Hey everybody, welcome back to the One Stop Podcast. As always, it's Brianna and Lindy. Yay.
Hello.
We're back. So we are going to talk about China.
China.
Yeah. Chinese GP, and I told everybody in advance that it was going to take me out, and it did take me out. That sleep schedule was so messed up, but so well worth it. Like, the things we got to witness this past weekend were insane.
So, sprint quali, we had a Lewis pole.
Yeah,
I know that you were so giddy and so happy.
I was so happy. I was like, finally, he was fighting that car in Australia. It only took, at that time, it was 5 days in between? Yeah, I was very happy. He figured out something real nice, put it together. And I was just like, it feels so good to see his name up there again. I was definitely re-energized. Ferrari was happy with it. The Ferraris are always I was nervous because the Ferraris were always trading back and forth, who can each other, but he came out on top. And I was worried for Lando because Lando likes to pull out a last lap Lando and qualify.
Yeah, he does that a lot, but Lewis had it.
He set another record, a lap record for fastest lap. He did in that sprint quali. He did fastest lap there. I remember that because there was 3 records set this weekend.
Yes.
But his was
there were quite a few.
Yeah, his was the first of the weekend. Was very happy. It was him and then Max right behind him.
Oh, yes, because everyone was like, are we going to see 2021 again?
Yeah, and I'm sitting there with PTSD. I'm just trying to stay calm. But it was good. And then I think it was the McLarens.
I am blanking. I don't remember who was in P3.
I just remember those first 2 and really.
It might have been the McLarens or George. I'm not sure.
George likes to split them.
It's either the McLarens or George at this point.
George is always hanging around up there.
Yeah.
He drove beautifully for that quali. I mean, slow for that sprint. And I was terrified the entire time because you could see Max in his mirrors most of the sprint race.
His start was great.
His start rate was what I was most nervous about because Max loves to put his elbows out and push it out wide in that first turn.
Mm-hmm.
That was amazing racing. That first lap was really scary. Just getting around turn 1 and then the first lap of that whole sprint race, everybody was so chaotic.
Yeah.
Didn't we have contact? Minor contact? Somebody had or close contact, something like that. Somebody.
I mean, I know in the race there was a little bit of contact here and there, but sprint race, I don't remember if there was. I mean, it was so short. I think it was pretty much, I don't think there was a lot of action that happened.
No, there wasn't. There was a lot of action for Lando during the sprint, and he was just trying to keep pace. Really, I think everybody was really shocked by the McLarens in the sprint race.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah, for some reason, sprint quali and sprint race, they weren't doing as hot, but then we're perfectly fine again in normal quali and the actual race.
I think they had turned up. They weren't on the full turn up on their setup. They were saving that all for quali and race day. Because they usually do that. They usually turn that up to the max on
so then quali, you have the 1-2 with Oscar 1 and Lando 2, and that was beautiful. Oscar's first pole, not just a sprint pole, but an actual race pole.
Good job! Oh my god,
I love that for him.
That was such a good moment. So we have first pole with Ferrari, first sprint race win Ferrari, first pole for Oscar in his F1 career. We have a lot of firsts, and Oscar also set a lap record getting a pole. So then there's another one. He was the second fastest lap, topped Lewis. McLarens are heating up.
Yeah, that was great.
Dropped down the grid a little bit. Lewis was still ahead of Charles.
Middle of that. Are we still in quali, or are we now looking at the race?
Quali. We're just setting the grid because quali was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And
I'm starting to blank on.
it's there somewhere. It was like 2 in the morning.
Yeah. No, oh my gosh, this is why I don't remember a lot of quali now. I remember. So I set my alarm. Wait. Yes, quali was at 3 in the
Yeah,
morning.
for you, it was
I
3
set
p.m.
my alarm at 3 in the morning. I woke up to the alarm, got up out of bed, turned on the TV, flipped the channels to the right channel,
Yeah.
and then I got back in bed, and bam, all of a sudden I wake up and quali's over and it's like 5 a.m. And I was like, did I fall asleep? Like, obviously, but I'm like, when did I fall asleep? I guess when I laid back in bed, I just, bam, went back to sleep
Wow.
and never saw any of quali. So that was the first thing I did when I woke up was I watched the quali highlights on F1 TV. I did not check any social media. Um, so that makes sense. That's why
That
my
makes a
mind is
lot of
blanking.
sense. Mine was just because I was deliriously typing on my phone in the middle
Yeah,
of.
so you remember a lot more about quali than I do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's really funny. But people don't realize how relaxing it is to fall asleep to the sound of an F1 car. The
Somehow I
engine
did.
sound is really like it just is like white noise in the back.
No, that had to have been what my brain was thinking. Like, white noise, we're just going to go back to sleep. And I don't even remember going back to sleep.
Dang, that's a good sleep. That's like an instant sleep.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that for you. Get a
Well,
little
then,
rest.
guess we'll jump to the actual race.
Yeah, since we were awake for that and tripping out the entire time. The race.
Yeah, I was actually awake for the
Wow.
race. I didn't fall asleep.
I was nervous for Oscar. His first
Hmm.
pole start, I was really nervous that it was going to be a bad turn one, but he did a great job. He pulled out the gate. Reaction time was wonderful. There was some racing between him and Lando because didn't Lando initially lose the spot to George?
Yeah, so it's like what? It was Oscar. Oscar had a great start. And then all of a sudden, there's just the three cars racing each other: Max, George, Lando, and like, what was it? Yeah, they were all just racing each other. And then Lando lost a few places and had to work his way back up.
Yeah, he lost 3 places. Or was that the other race? I think it was this one. I think it was the race. He
Yeah,
lost
it was this one. It was this
places and
one.
then he made them up.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was nervous because I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? But what scared me was knowing who he had behind him, Oscar, who he had behind him for a little bit. But
Oscar held his own.
hung in there, man. He was like, I'm gone. He has the clean
And
air.
he
Beautiful.
built that gap too.
He built the mess out of that gap. Oh
Hmm.
my God. Wow. What was it? Like 10 seconds? It was like 10
Um,
seconds.
yeah,
Maybe
I don't remember.
12 seconds. That was a solid win. Like, I'm glad because we didn't have a debacle like last year. Like, this win, he could be like,
That was his redemption from Australia.
yeah. Yes, it
He
was.
was like, that P2 should have been mine in Australia.
Yeah.
So now we're just gonna start over and we're gonna get P1 in China.
Take the
Oh,
whole.
his 1/16th home race win.
His 1/16th, that's right.
Yeah,
That is right.
hilarious.
Yeah, he has a few home races on the calendar. Monaco
He's
will
a
be.
well-rounded kid.
Yeah, he travels. His family travels all around. Charles is his
Family
dad.
apparently just has little tidbits of
Right.
different ethnicities in him somewhere.
Somewhere. And then, of course, he's going to try to probably claim Japan for his brother, Yuki, because
Oh
his
my
mom.
gosh, that is so funny.
He's just everywhere. Um, I really enjoyed this race as much as it wasn't like, okay, everybody's spinning out, everyone's in the wall. I did think that there was a good battle. Like,
It was a lot more calm, and I think we needed that after Australia.
it was the contact between Charles and Lewis, where Charles went
Oh, right off the bat, yeah.
and just had a dangling front wing. I don't know
That
how he
side of the front wing was gone.
drove that thing. And he kept driving and was fast.
Yeah, he was like, "No, I'm fine. I'm staying in. I'm staying in.
I can survive. Yeah.
I
That
can survive."
I
That
can
was it.
survive. Yeah, that was crazy, Charles. You hung in there quite a bit. Um, who else surprised me was another Ferrari situation. The whole Lewis and Charles car swap,
Oh yeah.
and how that was Lewis's idea in the very first place, and nobody broadcasted that message. And that's why when he was saying, I'll tell you when we swap, he was like telling them when he was ready for it to happen. And it makes sense. But that was his idea. Charles had the pace. It was time to go.
Something that I'm still confused by is how did Yuki's front wing break inwards? Like, he was like, front wing damage when? And everyone else like on the commentary was like, yeah, wait, when did his front wing break?
No idea. Because I can't even think of one moment that I watched that race and I was like, oh, that happened to you.
Like, I don't know. Like, did he have contact with anyone or did it literally just fold back?
I have no clue. I did not see contact, so it must have had to been like something.
Yeah.
Folded it. But speaking of Yuki, good on Yuki. Good on Yuki for telling them what he wanted done with his strategy this weekend.
Yuki and Isaac both drove superbly this weekend.
I agree.
And it was also redemption for Isaac because he was like, listen, we're not going to talk about Australia, but let's talk about how I did in China.
We are not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a great job. I was nervous for him, but, you know, put up and shut up, and he put up.
Yeah. Like, and then everyone kept talking about, like, two stops, and then they were like, no, plan A, plan B, plan C. We're going to just do a one stop. And then you have Lando, the last 10 to 20 laps or something, and he's like, I need you guys to tell Oscar to speed up. I don't want to be in his effing dirty air. Yeah. And then he's like, guys, my pedal, it's going long. I can't brake. Like, oh God.
Lando Norris. It's just
yeah. And then he keeps trying to push and he was getting fastest lap. And I'm like, bro, didn't they just tell you that 1-2 is better than a 1-0?
Yeah. I know. He does not like to be told not to push.
But the fact that his confidence has grown so much, which we addressed that in Australia, but the fact that he was like, yeah, they tell me not to push, but I'm still going to push a little because I know I can handle it.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, he's in more control of that car than I think he's ever been.
Yeah.
F1 car before.
Yeah. And then they were like, actually, Lando, it's critical now.
Yeah, like, stop.
Please chill out. And so you see that gap between him and George. It went from like 9 seconds to like 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. And I was like,
Anxiety was real. He did a good job handling that situation, though. I mean, his team wanted him to remain calm.
Mm-hmm.
Calm is key. Calm is definitely key. Let's talk about some pain.
Okay, so we all go to bed after the race and think all is well. Like, what happened is what happened.
The way you texted me and you were like, I don't want to be the one to tell you.
Yeah.
I can't be the one to tell you this. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So I immediately go to Threads because everyone's going to be talking about it there. Wow.
I woke up at 6 or 7 a.m. and that was the first thing I saw on Instagram that was like triple disqualification. But I was like, Bree, you're the first person I thought of, and I texted you and I was like, Bree, what just happened? Did you see what just happened? And you were like, what's going on? And I was like, I don't want to be the one to tell you. Okay. And you're like, what? And I was like, I don't want to be the one to tell you that both Ferraris are disqualified.
I almost called you. I'm not gonna lie, I almost called you because I was literally like, okay,
it's too early to have something going on.
Deep depression. Here we go. And did it stick around all day? I'm not even gonna lie, I was just like, what's the point? What is the point of life?
Yeah.
Why? Yeah, it was horrible. What do you mean double disqualification? And then poor Gasly.
Yeah, but everyone on Threads was just talking about the Ferraris. Nobody was talking about Pierre.
Trouble. The whole team just got taken out. Pierre Pierre being
and 1 kg.
Yeah.
They were both short by one. That's what's crazy. It's not like it was 5 or 10. It was
weird,
1.
careless mistakes that never happened. And I was just like, oh, God.
It's only Ferrari.
The season is going to be long, okay?
Yeah.
It's so long already. These 2 weeks have literally tested me and put me into Mentee B status so many times. It's not even funny. It's not even funny. I just laughed through the pain. Yeah, that sucked. But it also gave double points to Williams. So yay, double points
and Haas.
And double points to Haas.
So what? We had double McLaren, double Mercedes, double Williams, double Haas. I need an eagle to fly across the screen right now. Haas drove really well.
Every time you say that, I'm just crack up.
It's so true. One day I'm gonna learn how to edit an eagle flying across the screen with the eagle screech and like an American flag.
I'm screaming.
Shout out to Haas and Williams. Oh, Carlos.
Yeah, that was good for Carlos. It was good for Carlos.
Pain for Ferrari and Ferrari fans, but like joy for midfield teams because now you
What?
have Alex Albon who has seen more points in these 2 races than he did the whole last season.
That is
And
true.
then as a whole, like Williams and Haas and like Stake and teams like that are already having more points than they did the whole last season. And it's like things are getting interesting now, and you have all of them ahead of Ferrari.
You're
But,
welcome.
you know,
You're welcome. You should have seen
yeah.
my face when I was doing the graphic for like the standings. I was like, everybody, you must be lapping it up and having a great season.
I know. Oh, and then everyone was talking about how, like, for the first time in a long time, pretty much since Max, there's someone new that is
Yeah,
P1 in the driver standings that's not Max, and it's Lando.
it's Lando.
But I'm like, guys, everyone calm down. Like, yeah, I'm
8
sure Max
points.
could catch up, but
8 points they're separated by.
yeah,
That is not a margin for him to be comfortable. That is one
yeah,
sprint. That is one sprint.
yeah. But the statistic stays the same. It is still Lando in first place when it's usually Max.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, it could literally change. Everything could change as the season
very
goes on. But
quickly.
as of
Catch
now,
Max on a good weekend, it's done.
yeah,
They're gonna scrap at it till the end. Like
I think,
that's why I have no feelings about it right now because he's right there.
yeah, I just think as a whole this year for drivers and the constructors standings, I think it'll be a really good fight, just
I do too.
all across the board.
I do think McLaren's taking constructors. Nobody can take that from McLaren.
I think so too. But I don't want to get too comfortable.
Driver standing that is up for grabs still.
Mm-hmm.
Though it has been only 2 weekends, and we've had 2 McLaren wins.
Yeah.
But
Oh, that was McLaren's 50th one too. Also.
Oh yes. So we had
another statistic.
A very eventful weekend in China for smashing records and creating first and creating 50ths. It was good. Broke my heart a little bit, but you know, I'm very I can't even get the word out of my mouth. I was going to try to say optimistic.
Your body said no, she's not.
Get it out. Wow.
It's not optimistic.
Cautiously,
she's very doubtful.
For Suzuka. I think the week in between, the little mini week break, is going to be a nice little reset for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that Lando's going to do well. He likes the circuit, and his helmet's going to be fire if he does another Japan helmet. And I hope he does.
Oh, this
because
his circuit is beautiful.
Hard for Japan.
And the helmets last year were beautiful too. So
they're so good. And I did like their race suits. The numbers were amazing. But I do know that Ferrari has a decent chance in Suzuka. But Max, this is a nice little Max place. So I don't know. I think the tables are going to turn again in Japan. I really do.
Something I learned last year is how each track can be better suited to a different team and car, and I thought that was so interesting.
Yes, it is. It is actually crazy. But this is some good racing in Suzuka.
Yeah.
And it depends on if it's cool. I think it's going to be hot. It's like summertime right now.
I mean, yeah, and that'll be a triple header. They've got hot race, little break, Miami, hot race.
Girlfriend found that son. But now that we are somewhat recovered, I can't even say that either because I'm not recovered, clearly. China, yeah, that's all I can say. Just shake my head.
So yeah, that's a wrap. See you guys next week. Just kidding. We'll wrap it up in a much nicer way.
Suzuka is next. So, till next time, you guys, when we pick up after Japan. Bye.
Bye.